Things I've learned since working in professional baseball. Part 3. Patience. Oh, this is a good one. I probably should have made this the first video in the series because it's that important. But I'm glad I got around to this one because, man, patience is a hard one. And the reason why patience is so hard is because it takes a long time, right? So let me give you 2 scenarios, right? You have a 12-year-old that is playing for a travel ball organization. They have a hitting coach. They go to some lessons. And they go maybe have 2 subpar weekends. And all of a sudden they fall out of the lineup. Parents are upset. They probably go fire the hitting coach. And that cycle just ends up repeating itself, right? Because in this scenario, there's no patience, right? There's no allowance for development, right? Now, you go over into professional baseball, and we have tons of patience, right? And the thing that always struck me as very interesting since I got into this business is we spend, I shouldn't say we, I don't spend this money. Baseball spends a ton of money on players, a ton. Right? And this isn't to start a debate about salaries and wages and all that stuff. But as a whole, we spend a ton of money on players, and then we give them a ton of time to develop. Usually, the more money we spend on players, the more patient we are with them, which is exactly the opposite of how we are in youth sports a lot of the time. Right? So parents, think about that. I understand you're investing a ton of money into your kid, and I'm not going to pretend like you're not, because you are. Travel ball is expensive, lessons are expensive, training is expensive. All of it's expensive. And you are spending a ton of money and a ton of time on your son or daughter. However, be patient. This stuff doesn't happen overnight, right? You hear it all the time about the players that reach the big leagues after they were drafted in the 15th round and they've been in the minor leagues for 6 years. 6 years! And they finally cashed in on their investment. And I'm talking about baseball. The baseball team has finally cashed in on their investment, right? And we allow that to happen because we understand that that is necessary to get them to where we want to go, right? Think about how far away your 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, even 17-year-old is from reaching their peak. They're a long way away from reaching their peak. And if we can have patience in the development process, they're more likely to get there. That is going to mean we're going to have to watch them fail. We're going to have to watch them go through it. We're going to have to watch them debate about quitting because they're going to wonder if this is all worth it, right? That's all part of the development process. And that's something that I do believe the baseball industry understands and is very, very good at, is the patience of knowing that if a guy has a bad season, it's just part of his development process. Right? If a guy needs to make a swing change and it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, that's part of the process, right? So I encourage you to be patient. If baseball has taught me anything, it's patience. And I know that's not something you want to hear because I want immediate return on my investment too. That'd be awesome. That'd be a really, really good investment strategy if I could just go out and find things that are going to give me immediate returns. That's not how youth player development works. It's actually not how adult player development works either. We just have to be patient, and we have to let our players fail, and we have to let them learn from that failure, and we have to let the game teach them. We have to let the game teach them what they need. That way they can take ownership over their own process as well. So be patient. You're not making it to the big leagues at 12. You're not. Be patient. This stuff takes literal years. Literal years. Okay? Please understand the flip side of that coin, which is we're paying these players in some cases millions of dollars before we have ever seen them play a baseball game. And we're extremely patient to allow that player to grow. You can do the same with your 12-year-old or your 13-year-old, or in a lot of cases, your high school player as well. Be patient. It takes time, but if you let it happen, I promise you, you will see a return on your investment.